UFC 324 has just gone down, and today I'm going to give y'all my main card recap here. Sorry that I'm usually a little more, on the spectrum here. We want to talk about Silva versus Allen. I'm usually a lot more loud, but my girlfriend is going me, like prime SpongeBob on the best day ever, okay? So gotta let her sleep, and also I'm a little bit exhausted myself after these long day of fights, but today I'm giving y'all my main card recap here specifically, okay? Now, starting with Silva versus Allen here, man. Listen, I don't think that this was like the barn burner that I expected it to be, but at the same time, it was a good fight. I wasn't bored at any point, so like I can't really complain too much. I think in a world when you get like someone as entertaining as Allen and Silva combined, the Tism versus Tism match, like you got Silva foaming at the mouth and spitting on the belt in the promo, and Allen saying, "Balk if you're gay." Like, what a match from the heavens. But in general, man, it still was a good scrap. I had Allen winning round one. The head kick was landing pretty solid. I feel like that was kind of missing as the fight was going on longer. And then also Allen was doing, these guys were kind of figuring each other out in the first minute or two. And it seemed like the rest of round one, Allen was just taking over, man. Allen was landing the better shots. And Silva was just waiting to explode. Almost like he was proving a point, like whether to us or to himself or to Allen, that he can be patient and composed and doesn't have to just be reckless and fucking wild like he was against Lopez. So it's like, we didn't really see the classic Silva that we always did. He wasn't exactly thrown for the fences, but like he's usually pretty composed anyways. Like he can be a good pressure fighter, but like he has very sneaky power, and we just weren't seeing that in the first round. He wasn't throwing too much. So it was clearly Allen in round one, okay? Love the mullet, but then round two and three, as you go further down along the spectrum, it favors the loud barking one apparently, because Silva seemed to be more back into that flow state. If this guy had hair, he would literally be Goku in the whole Ultra Instinct thing, right? I don't know how that would work with fucking bald people. I mean, Napo could have went Super Saiyan, so you never know. But regardless, Silva here, man, started to show how dynamic he was, started to show how fast and explosive he really was, and he started to carry away on the judges' scorecards. He was making Allen miss more. He was dragging the fight more into the pocket. He landed a takedown or two. So in general, I'm glad he utilized that. I was saying in the build-up, dude, Silva can use his offensive grappling, and no one is talking about it. But in general, man, Silva's showing that he's well-rounded. Silva got more into the flow state, and he was making round two pretty competitive. And Allen was missing a lot of the money shots he was landing in round one. So it's 1-1 going in the third, right? For me personally, at least, I know a lot of people thought that was a really close fight, which I get it. It was very competitive, but some people I think thought Allen won. I disagree. I thought the third round is what really sealed it for Silva. Now, granted, it was competitive. And the ending, I'd have to pull it up and watch it again, but it was very bizarre. At 45 seconds, I believe it was, Silva points down to the center of the cage. Allen seems like he's kind of I'm down, but can we wait till 10 seconds or something? So then, the final 10 seconds comes, and Silva's been piecing him up until then, but it's relatively, but until then, man, it was just such a weird ending to the fight, because I don't even know what the combination or sequence was that led to this, but Gene Silva, a literal fourth grader fucking with another fourth grader, just took a step on his back while he was half on the ground and just hopped over him as crazy. What was that? That crazy rap song, crazy rap Afro Man, whatever the Afro Man says. It indeed, he hopped out like a fucking kangaroo. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's gonna get that reference. Why do I bother? The point is, I think that it was a really weird ending to the fight, but overall, I had it 2-1 for Silva, and I think that once he got into that usual flow state, and once he realized that Allen wasn't gonna fucking knock him out, or to be frank, just catch him with some wild KO like Lopez had the ability to, I think Silva, man, was much more comfortable getting in the pocket, dictating the pace, implementing the takedowns, and man, he showed that he can be composed yet so fucking wild, and why he's so dangerous. So yeah, he didn't get a KO win here, but I don't think he needed a KO for it to be a good win. Dude, Allen, he's 20-3, now 20-4. And 3 of those losses are really close decisions to Holloway, Silva, and Evloev. And this was his comeback fight, so nothing against Allen. It sucks to see him get sent down to number 8 or 9 in the rankings. Hopes he gets a good matchup next, but still a fan of him. Was a fan of the build-up to this one, and wasn't exactly, again, as hyped up a fight as I thought it was going to be. But it was still good. It was still good. You know what I mean? And Silva showing that he is that elite on the feet, and he bounced back with a nice win here, okay? I feel bad for Allen, but good scrap to start off the card. And speaking of good scrap, let's talk about Silva versus Namajunas. So I guess that doesn't really make sense because it was a bad fight. It was a bad fight. It was a bad scrap, okay? I was kind of half watching. You can go and watch the fucking Fight Companion. I'm kind of talking out my ass. I was kind of half tuning in and out. I think I had Silva winning round 1, but again, I was like kind of barely watching. In round 2, I think it was clearly Roses. In round 3, I think it was Silva. So I think the first round was pretty close. I think a lot of people had it for Rose and a lot of people had it for Silva. I think it just depends what you value or how much you were watching. Were you eating? Were you fucking dancing around? All right. Were you like Steve Rogers at the end of, what was it, like Endgame when he's dancing with the wife in the future or whatever, right? Maybe you're doing that. I don't know what you're doing while you're watching these women's fights, but whatever it is, I don't know if I'm going to like stand my base on the decision being whack or not whack, whoever you thought won, but it is what it is. Silva came up on top. I thought she did, I guess, enough here, and it just was a stinker of a fight. It wasn't really until the third round when they started to get kind of scrappy. So just a bit of what we feared about this fight being put on the main card, you know? And like, I'm not really too excited for Valentina versus Rose, so I'm glad at least we get Valentina versus Silva, but it's like, I think Valentina is just going to 50-45 her, so you never know. It's just because Valentina's that good and that boring, to be frank, but we'll have to see it, man, okay? People are starting to root behind Silva now, so we'll have to see where she goes from here. Probably a title shot, to be frank, but it is what it is. It was a good performance. 2-1. Don't really know how other people scored it. I haven't really looked at what people are saying on the internet, but yeah, that's how I feel about it. Again, just not, wasn't, you know what I'm saying, man. Not exactly the most exciting fight in the world, okay? It was pretty fucking tame. Moving on now to the heavyweight clash that we thought was not going to be tame. We thought this was going to be just, you know, that Lego Hulk meme where they're just going back and forth, just scrapping at each other. We thought it was going to be that. But it really wasn't. And I think that's the problem, man. Like, this fight just left us pretty confused. So Waldo Cortes-Acosta ended up winning. I picked him to win, and good shit, he ends up getting it done. I think that if Lewis was going to win, his best chances were that round 1 KO, obviously. If this fight was going to go and end in rounds 2 or 3, or implement some ground and pound, or go to the distance, I knew that it was going to be Cortes-Acosta winning. And it was a mid-round 2 KO, but it was just such a weird ending, dude. Like, I was talking to my chat about it. I'm like, does anyone know what the fuck happened? Because, like, either I thought Acosta just hit him with a jab, and then Lewis went down, but I also thought Lewis, like, tripped or slipped. And then he was just on his ass 1 second. But, like, the thing was, he wasn't really trying to get back up to his feet. Like, he was kind of just staring at Acosta. Like, you know that one song, like, na-na-na-na, na-na-na, like that love song or whatever. Like, that started playing. They were making eye contact for a little too long, 2 seconds there. And Acosta just starts dunking on him with ground and pound and just beating him up from above. And it was just, I was like, what the, I was more so just saying, like, what the fuck happened? Like, what just happened? Then, like, oh my God, what a crazy knockout. Oh my good Lord above. So, in general, I think it's a good win for Acosta. Beating Lewis, who's a legend and a knockout artist, is amazing, especially when you TKO him. I just don't think this was, like, similar to the opener. I just don't know if it was, like, the barn burner or the crazy finish I thought it was going to be in my mind. And maybe that's my fault, because at the end of the day, with the opener and this, you got a finish in this and you got a fun fight in the opener. So why am I complaining? I don't think I'm complaining, to be fair, but regardless, like, I just think the 6 weeks off and you see these matchups and you think they're just going to be some of the, because I think too, we saw the main event. The main event was just full fucking violence, you know, and we'll get to it in a second, but it was a good win for Cortes-Acosta. Talking about the actual fight a little bit more here, besides just like the weird stoppage and like, how did Lewis get knocked down? And like, I mean, really, Lewis just looked like the clearly slower fighter in round 1. He had a hard time closing the distance. He was throwing a bunch of hooks and overhands that just weren't getting through. These 1-2s that were just clearly missing or were too slow or too blobby and plobby. And Cortes-Acosta clearly had the better head movement and speed, and he was just dodging everything Lewis was throwing at him, or was just making Lewis fucking miss for a lifetime. You know what I'm saying? So I think Lewis obviously had that KO power to probably win this one, but there was no point to where he really rocked Cortes-Acosta. Sure, they got in the pocket a pretty significant amount of times, but again, it wasn't that Lego Hulk meme where they're just fucking smashing each other like you kind of thought, you know? So Lewis, I still think, I don't know where he goes from here. Like, does he go to the White House? Does he retire? I don't know. He's probably going to fight again a couple more times, knowing him, probably till he's 50. And I don't think this loss takes anything away from him. Let's be honest, it just builds up Cortes-Acosta. He's on a 3-fight win streak now, still being extremely active. I would love a fight against him versus Blades or Volkov up next, while the title fight scene figures itself out, because this guy's active as hell, man. And listen, was this the most entertaining fight in the world? No. It was a bit of a letdown before the finish, and Lewis again just could not get these shots going for the life of him. Just seemed one step behind the entire fight, while Cortes-Acosta was landing a really clean jab. Like, literally, I said this stream, he was piecing him up like prime Pena against Nunes. You know what I mean? The classic, like, 10 jabs in a row, and commentary goes crazy. It was that. but just on a bit of a lesser level, but just much blobbier. But the point is, man, Cortes-Acosta, the 1-2 was money tonight. The speed and head movement was money. And people were clowning on his power, but clearly he had the power to rock Lewis, apparently. So, I don't know. We got to look at the replays again. Got to really review the finish here, okay? Get the magnifying glass really up to it, okay? But regardless, I'm a Cortes-Acosta fan. I'm a Lewis fan. It was an okay fight with just an odd finish, but Cortes-Acosta is going to move up now, or remain at least in the top 6, okay? Don't know where Lewis goes, but big things for Cortes-Acosta, man. Really big things. He's really elevated himself within 365 days. Moving on up next to the co-main event here, we had Sean O'Malley defeat Yadong. I hope it's okay. I mean, check yourself. Are you doing all right down there, Jesus? But the point is, I feel like we made so many of those jokes here, like every channel and a half. I was surprised I wasn't making any, but this fight is over. We don't have to keep referring to this. But the point is, Sean O'Malley went out there and he did beat Yadong. He went out there and just fucking beat the shit out of him. I'm not even doing it on purpose anymore. I'm sorry. It was a great win from Sean. It was 1-1 going into the third, to be fair. I had Sean O'Malley winning the first round, even though a lot of people had Song winning the first. I didn't even know that either. Somebody had to tell me. I thought it was clearly Sean won the first. Apparently, everybody and their mother had Song winning the first. But I had Sean winning the first by just being the more precise fighter, just landing the more accurate shots, just doing a bit more damage. And the one takedown that Song landed, so Song landed a takedown, I think 20 or 30 seconds left of the first round. The first round was pretty back and forth and competitive. Both guys very light on their feet, explosive, and just fast as all fuck. But Sean was getting the better of him. Song gets a takedown. He's on top for like 20 seconds. Sean is just looking at the clock the whole time, wondering when he can get his next joint. And like the takedown just didn't do anything. It was very ineffective for me, in my opinion. Yeah, he got him down efficiently, but like did nothing with it, and like not even any really control from it besides like 20 seconds. So I didn't rate it too much, and I thought Sean did enough on the feet prior. So I had round 1 for O'Malley. I understand why people have Song. I get they rate the takedowns, and it was already close with the striking, but I had it round 1 for Sean, to be honest. Round 2 was clearly Song Yadong. Got a couple of takedowns in. Sean O'Malley was really like hesitant on the feet. He was landing a really great front kick throughout the entire round, and even in round 3, as I'm about to get to, but like it seemed like that was the highlight of Sean's round 2. He wasn't having much success. He wasn't utilizing the range and distance management as much as he was in the first round and eventually in the third. So just a very off round for Sean. The takedowns got through for Song, and you know, Song was kind of busted up in the mouth a little bit and nose at this point, but like he did clearly win the round. So I had it round 2 for Song just by doing more wrestling and doing more on the feet. He was clearly the more like explosive guy. Like where Song wanted to fight, he was getting it there. And then round 3, it was 1-1. And I really wish I went with the good money of Sean O'Malley to win by decision. I was thinking about making that bet, but Sean came in clutch, man. I don't think it was like the round 3 of like Jan versus O'Malley. They're just going life and death. But if you were tuning in this fight for like someone you ended up getting the main event, just violence, swing, that's not what you got. What you got with this fight, and in the third round as well, was just 2 strikers going at it at an extremely high level and extremely technical at a solid pace, a good pace, and they're showing why they're the top level bantamweights in the world. It's just not the most entertaining fight in the world, but just getting to the third round, right? I think this is the part where my point is I thought the third round was going to be the one that made this fight just amazing, but it didn't really happen. They weren't really throwing too much until the second half of the third round, and even then, I think Sean just, he did a really good job with an initial sprawl for a big desperate takedown attempt from Song. And Sean did a really good job, man. Again, just piecing him up with the 1-2. His counter striking was on point in the second half of this fight. So when Song Yadong was rushing in, man, Sean's a sniper. Very good counter striker, man. Very accurate as well. I think the precision really helped him in this fight. I think the height and reach advantage really helped him in this fight. And I think all the prep with takedown defense from Marab really helped him in this fight. So, yeah, man, I like Sean O'Malley. I'm glad he's back in the win column here. I might fucking dye my hair all crazy colors myself. I don't know what you do with him. Like, do you give him Sandhagen? Do you give him Talbot? Holy shit, I just realized that as I'm saying out loud. Do you give him Jan? Because, they're going to do Jan and Marab the trilogy, which I support. I think Marab deserves it, I can't even do a Marab impression right now because my fucking lungs are all gone and I'm exhausted. But the point is, I don't know what they're going to do with him, if it's Sandhagen, Talbot, or the title shot, right? Jan, whatever. But it's going to be a big fight, and I think the division is better with Sean O'Malley in it. I like seeing him in the win column because I am a Sean fan. I think a lot of people have been growing on him because he's been a bit more humble lately, brother. Send him 2 years Dagestan and forget. He's been a lot more humble. I think he's I like the Sean O'Malley I've been seeing lately in the interviews and all that stuff. Like, the real dude seems like a cool dude. I wasn't really crazy about the whole shindig personality, whatever the fuck, smoking the fake pipes from a couple years ago. But like, I've always loved his fighting style, and fights like this kind of show it, man. Like, one of the more dull Sean O'Malley fights, but like, that goes to show how entertaining he is. This was still a much better fight than a lot of fighters could produce. So Song Yadong is an absolute dog. He brought it tonight. It's a great win for Sean. And my whole point here is that Sean is the man. I love to see him back in the win column here, and he's been growing a lot on he's been growing on me a lot lately after this whole, ups and downs, but a lot of downs the past couple of years, so great precision, timing, shot selection, and speed and accuracy from Sean O'Malley. The striking, he's just simply one of the best. And if his takedown defense continues to hold up, he's going to be a real threat, but I just don't know if he beats him a Rob or Jan. But in terms of him remaining in the sport, glad he's here, and it was a good win, man. I had it 2-1, and I'm very curious to see if people say it was a robbery or like a corporate decision. I don't know. Like, I really have to see the reactions. I don't know. I could see that easily being the case, but I had it 2-1 for Sugar, man. Good win for him, in my opinion. And moving on now to the main event. Oh my actual God, dude. Like, I knew this was going to be a good stylistic matchup. I was saying this. Like, listen, Armin, of course, deserved the title shot. Don't get me wrong. I was saying that. But, like, I knew that stylistically, as just a fight, just a pure, whether stand and bang, or I wanted to see if Gaethje's grappling could survive against Paddy, or if Paddy was elite enough and his chin could survive. Like, there were so many variables and question marks and high stakes for this fight. And even though for the title, it wasn't the right fight to make, in terms of a stylistic matchup, it was absolutely the right fight to make. And now you have an interim champion in Gaethje who, I mean, I don't even know what they're going to do with Saryukin, but if Gaethje, they really are going to do him versus Topuria at the White House, I don't think it's as big or as an exciting of a fight as him versus Paddy one. But you know what, man? Gaethje went out there and showed he is the S-tier unk. And I should have known to pick Gaethje. He was the one underdog on the card. I just really should have known to go with. I don't know if you guys had that feeling, but like, I knew when I really, especially when I saw these Instagram posts about how, look at Gaethje's 5 losses. They're only like 1 per round, and they're like some of the most elite guys, almost all former champions. And I'm like, dude, I don't think Paddy is that guy. Like, I'm picking Paddy, and I like Paddy. I think Paddy's underrated in a lot of regards, but like, oh my God, I don't think he's a Holloway. I don't think he's a Poirier. I don't think he's a Charles or Khabib or Alvarez. So listen, man, Gaethje went out there and just proved me wrong. Paddy was barely shooting takedowns. I mean, he was kind of mixing it up, just not as much as I thought he would, and he was doing pretty unsuccessful with actually just keeping Gaethje down for very long, or actually implementing that ground and pound like he did over Chandler. Not a sub attempt or many I really can think of. And Gaethje on the feet and on the ground was just getting the better of Paddy. That right hand was money, and it was landing clean, and yeah, it was also missing a lot of the time. Don't get me wrong. Gaethje showed us that even though he's still getting wins now with his high level and old age, he's still big old Rufus. He'll always be Rufus deep down. You can never change some things about a man. You could take the Gaethje out the Rufus, but you can't take the Rufus out the Gaethje. But my point is, I mean, Jesus, dude, he really, on the feet and on the ground, just showed us why he is that good, dude. Like, his combinations were brutal. His power was devastating. His pressure was immense. They were just scrapping. And all fucking due respect to Paddy Pimblett, this increased the stock of both of these guys. It regained love and respect for fans for Gaethje and showed us how good he is. I still think he gets smoked by by Topuria, but I would say that about either of these guys. Topuria, I think, smokes everyone besides maybe Armin and, well, Islam, but we don't know. And for Paddy, at least, man, this fight elevated him because Scousers don't get knocked out. Holy fuck. This guy's chin was made of like a Blastoise shell. I've never seen like just knockdown. He got knocked down. And he was just able to recover and survive so well. His durability, recovering, and survivability was just another level. It was another level. Like, I haven't seen an athlete just in a fight like that in like a really long time, or just one of the rare times where like, dude, they received punishment, and like in the escape of 1 round, their face was completely different and looked completely busted up, and they're still in it. Paddy had nice calf kicks, bro. He was chopping up the outside calf of Gaethje, and he had a nice uppercut. He had a nice jab, nice 1-2 as a whole that he was piecing up on Gaethje. Like, Paddy was getting in the pocket, unloading combinations. He was not afraid of the power of Gaethje. He was not afraid of the pressure. Gaethje said, I'm just going to go into your chest, and I'm just going to walk you down. And Gaethje did that, but Paddy was just so ready for the dog fight. Paddy got knocked down. I don't even know how many times. I'm not going to look it up right now, but it was at least 2 halfway through the fight. So I can't even imagine. But this guy, I really respect the heart and the grit, dude. I know everybody is probably saying that, but like genuinely, dude, even as someone who picked him, like, this guy's still going to get better. He's still going to improve. He's still a superstar, man. Like, I think his grappling, we overrated it in this matchup. Let's just be honest. Everyone that's picking Paddy, we underrated the takedown defense of Gaethje, and we overestimated the grappling and submission ability of Paddy. But Gaethje's a dog, man. His striking really is that good. And beating Fiziev twice and now beating Paddy, like the 2 young bucks, it's pretty impressive. If Fiziev loses to Rufi, obviously that's not going to age too well. And if Paddy loses this fight, that won't either. But I'm just saying, like, Gaethje, he showed how elite he is, man. Like, he was pacing up Paddy with constant pressure and combinations. And his takedown defense just held up exquisitely, okay? This was one of the most amazing fights I've seen in a long time. Not like a year or two, don't get me wrong. Like, but this would have been one of the better fights of last year, 100%. This was a barn burner. It was a stylistic dream, and we ended up seeing that. And we're getting Gaethje versus Ilya. Like, I don't really know how I feel about that. I was way more excited for Paddy versus Ilya, but like after seeing this fight, now I don't know. But at the same time, I can't shake the feeling. Like, it's like, you know, we don't get the Paddy fight, but like it is what it is. I'm sure Gaethje and Ilya are going to talk shit. At least Gaethje's an American champion. At least it'll be a guaranteed knockout. Like, there's benefits. And even if Ilya wins and when he wins, like, it's a nice name to have on the resume, especially now that he's on a couple fight win streak at least, you know? But my point is, man, old man Gaethje got it done. He defied the odds, and he showed us why he's that unk of all along. Imagine Michael Johnson was on this card and won. Look at Gaethje and Johnson years later, man, getting the underdog wins. But we didn't get to see that, but we did get to see Gaethje, though. So respect to Paddy. Chin and heart and durability is crazy. We overrated the grappling, but his striking, the combinations were there. I think he lacks the power and the speed and just the killer instinct on the feet, but it'll come. It'll get there, man, you know? So Paddy really impressed me, even though we got 49-46. It was an amazingly entertaining fight, and Gaethje is the man. Gaethje's the man. I don't know how I really feel about this outcome, but I definitely have regained the respect that I lost. Overall, the like, I'm going to retire if I don't get a title shot thing from Gaethje. So I definitely, people forget Manninged him, but he truly reminded me how good he is and why he's the man. So overall, man, sick main event. The main card, though, I can understand why you could have been disappointed the heavyweight bout or the co-main or the women's fight. Like, I feel like it's just a matter of preference. Like, overall, I think the main card was solid. I just don't think it was like the banger we thought it was going to be, because that's really what we thought. But overall, man, I'm going to dwell on the prelims for like a minute here just so I can rate this card here and just give y'all like, you know, I mean, I thought it was a good card, basically. The Umar fight sucked. It was a stinker. You know, I was kind of half watching, to be honest with you, while I was setting up my live stream. I'm just going to be honest, okay? I'm sorry. But Umar dominated him, 30-27. Okay, the only guy that's a minus 1,500 favorite, and yet the fight to go the distance was a minus 150. All right, it is what it is. So Umar got that win. It was boring. It is what it is. Gaethje, he shocked us by dominating Pulev in the first round and then making it just extremely competitive in the second and third. I have seen channels and other people in general say that Gaethje is going to be top 5 or top 10 by the end of this year. I'm telling y'all right now, his striking and power is really good, but I've been preaching this. When he faces someone elite enough or with a good enough chin that he won't just get knocked out right away, he'll face problems. So Gaethje is really good. But dude, he's fucking younger than me by a couple years. He's 23. Okay, like, this guy is young as shit. Probably younger than a lot of you. And if he is older than you, it's probably not by much. You know what I'm saying? So he has a great high ceiling, but not the crazy knockout we expected. Like, it was all finishes on the prelims until this fight. Never would have expected that was the one that went the distance. Krylov's back in the win column. Thought he was going to retire, but apparently not. Stinker of a fight. Very wrestling heavy, but Bukauskas wasn't throwing that much output, and Krylov fought really smart by mixing in the wrestling. Boring fight until the last minute knockout, but they scrapped at the end, and Krylov got a crazy knockout, and he's back in the win column. We were seeing the build-up. Krylov is the better fighter, but his chin is garbage, but he showed us that his chin could survive. And also, to be fair, Bukauskas wasn't throwing much, but Krylov implemented the wrestling well, and he got a nice knockout. Alex Perez showing that he really is just a really good fighter. Heavy pressure and power from the start. Knocked out our poor Charles Johnson, and it really hurt to see. Hockett, immediately one of my favorite American fighters. Great promo after. Crazy cardio and pressure for a heavyweight, okay? And Ty Miller with a fantastic KO debut. You could really tell that these guys are fighting for their fucking extra bonuses now, which I love the extra bonuses, by the way. But overall, I would give this card like a 7 out of 10. I thought it was good. I thought that the Umar fight sucked. I thought the Silva and Namajunas fight sucked. I thought the Gaethje fight in the second half was a letdown, but like it was, I guess, interesting to see Gaethje have a challenge. But overall, crazy knockouts and a crazy main event. And I get that the main card, it kind of just depends how you want to look at it. So if you want to give this card like a 5, I understand. If you want to give this card like a 9, I understand. But that's why I'm going with a 7. I don't think it was great enough to be an 8, but I don't think it was mid enough to be like a 6. So, or even just okay enough or good enough to be a 6. It was pretty good, but not great. So I'm giving it a 7 here, man. I just, good start to Paramount. I like the production. I like the new music. I like the amount of promotion they're putting in. So Paramount is already becoming a great partner. So, and also I went 7-3 on picks. So starting off the year with 70% pick ratio. I won't complain too much about it. Should have went with Gaethje. Should have known it. Should have went with Perez. Should have known that. The Krylov one is the one that really kind of surprised me, to be honest. But it is what it is. Thank you guys so very much for giving me your time and attention. All the smoke MMA here. Appreciate y'all a lot, dude. If you want to subscribe or not subscribe, I don't give a shit, man. I just appreciate you giving me your time and attention. And let me know what you think in the comments below. Where did you guys have the best picks, or where did you have the worst picks? I'd absolutely love to hear it, man. So all the smoke here. Thanks for joining the Fight Companion if you did. And thanks for making this far in the video. And I have my 325 picks coming tomorrow, I believe. So all the smoke here. Appreciate it a lot. And I'll see you guys next time.